Hey Adonis, who do we have after Breeds on the list?
After Breach we have
I think Johnny,
Zen.
because what Johnny hasn't has Johnny already played?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I completely forgot about that.
He got all in a ZVZ.
Oh yeah, the mass lens. I remember that.
Now we're trying to get him in here. Where's Breach? Did he log off completely? Like he was supposed to do a quick relog.
The Breach has logged back in. Let me suggest him to the game.
Okay. Alright, I think we're about ready to get this show on the road. Alright, here we go. This is game number 8 in a best of 9 series. It's going to be a PvP on WCS Daybreak. Of course, Czar once again moving on to the final round after a very close game he had with Sly, our Zerg player, on Antigua. But, you know, hopefully Breach. I don't know how well any of these guys' players PvP is. I don't know too much about PvP, you know, but I do hear trickles here and there. It's going to be related around, I guess, 4 gates and or Stargate openings. You know, I mean that's what I mainly hear.
Openings became quite popular. I think they've fallen off a little bit, but you know, we do normally see a lot of one-base play in PvP. But a big map like this. You can get a 1-gate robo expand, but it's all very intricate. Depending, you know, on a couple slip ups here and there, a move like that can cost you a game. But if you get away with it, you're set up. You're beautiful. You're set up very nicely. So we do have the GLHF, and to introduce our players, in the top right of Daybreak, we have our teal Protoss Czar, who took the victory in the last match. And in the bottom left, we have our purple Protoss from Team Evolution and Breets. And again, guys, this is match point.
Match point.
And
for
as
Team
for colors,
Evo,
I don't know the color settings you have, Adonis, but
I changed it when you said.
Okay. Just
so basically, it's looking pretty standard right now. 9 pylons from both sides. Scout going out for Czar though. Breach deciding not to scout right away. And once again, this is going to relinquish, you know, it's going to help Czar feel a little more secure at what he's going to be doing. And finally, a scout is coming out for Breach, actually, so, you know, that'll actually even things out just fine. Gateway coming down, and a gateway as well, so identical builds from both sides.
Yep, that early scout out of Czar, very, very early scout out of Czar, is just signaling there is a lot on line. He is worried. In terms of these two players' skill caliber, I think they're very, very even. Judging my last game, I think Czar has some pretty solid mechanics and decision making, and it's going to carry him in this game against Breach.
Alright, well, nearly identical gas timings, just varying slightly. Gateway is actually faster for Breach. Any sort of tech that comes on after it will be, of course, slightly ahead as well. This pylon just kind of chilling for Breach in the base of Czar. At the bottom half, maybe he's going to be hidden slightly more. I mean, if they can sneak pylons into the bases, I feel like that would be quite decisive if they can do any sort of...
It is a game move. It is game breaking. I don't like him revealing his probe. I think he should have kept it hidden, but you know, if he going for the pylon in base, it is a risky move, and I guess he just wanted to be a little more safe and sound by instead getting some more scouting information. But pulling the probe out that early isn't really going to tell you anything. You should have waited at least another minute or two.
Now, Breach does have a delayed gas. He is just now taking his second gas, as opposed to Zar, who's had it for quite some time now over Breach. Chrono boosting out that warp gate. They want to get that out as soon as possible. But Breach is actually kind of falling behind on his chrono boost. He's not chrono boosting his probe. He's not chrono boosting his gateway, and he is opting to get the stalker out.
I believe he is going to be saving it for this robo or warp gate. It's, you know, I think what's going through his head right now is, yeah, I have a probe in his main. I'm in a solid position right now. He hasn't discovered it. You know, if I go for an aggressive play, I'm saving my chrono boost. I'll use it on my warp gate or I'll use it on my robo. But there he goes again with the probe, so that kind of cuts that out.
We have 3 gates and a robo coming out. And a probe looking like he wants to do a natural expansion. Maybe he's just looking around for any sort of pylons or something like that. But you know, if he is saving that chrono for that robotics facility, he could be going for early warp prism, any sort of play like that, or maybe an immortal. But he's actually opting for that observer first.
So when it's 4-gate robo, you absolutely cannot afford like immortals in your 4-gate composition. So what this has to be, he's building in there. See, he cancels his gateway because you absolutely cannot afford 4-gate robo with immortals. I would have suggested 4-gate with some warp prism play, because that's what we see a lot of players do when they get those structures. So canceling the gate, going for 3-gate robo, standard, safe, solid opener, good for defending, good for being aggressive, and looks like he is going to be dropping an expansion, which is a good choice.
So 3-gate robo, pumping out an immortal. So he's should be feeling pretty safe. There's one less gateway for Breach here, and Breach is opting to drop that expansion as well. And so he has slightly less production, but his Nexus isn't any faster. I'm thinking, you know, maybe these guys are about on even terms. And we also have another observer on the way.
You would think that Breach would be able to get ahead. Maybe he should have just dropped his Nexus a little sooner, but they're on the same grounds. But now Zara is one production structure ahead. So
exactly, and I think it stems from that early stalker. If he may have delayed that stalker as Zar did, he would be able to afford an earlier gateway.
But we do have Breach's observer over the army of Zar. Zar, where is his observer? He's getting his first one out now. Oh, no, that is his second one. His first one is being attacked near the main of Breach. And we do have the robotics bay going down for Breach. So we are going to be seeing the Colossus coming out very soon here. And we do have the probe transfer going over to Zar. I don't imagine that we're going to see any sort of attacking until both of these guys are saturated on their natural expansions.
So we do we do have a robotics bay on the way. This is definitely going to indicate some sort of macro play. So you are right. There probably isn't going to be any sort of attack until these guys feel safe, feel like they can, you know, just have a back and forth game. Very natural. Like, these guys should stay like incredibly even within each other, very fast. I mean, very fast for the duration of the game. I mean,
yeah,
and there should be like no weird fluctuations, you know.
Like, you know, are you not getting supply blocked? Are you using your chrono boost? Those are the things that are going to be the most important for the next few minutes here.
Right, and a lot of it is going to take part in decision making. Am I going to use warp prisms to force any sort of trades or anything like that, or am I going to use, you know, all my robotics bay building time to build Colossus or anything of that matter? What tech structures are coming next? So a lot of it's just going to be about if I'm going to take a third, you know. It's decision making and mechanics from here on out. And you know, for the most part, these guys, they should maintain a sort of, or they should at least be even with each other all the way up into the point to the first engagement, because they both have observers. They both kind of know what the other guy is doing. So whatever happens, the opponent should be able to match, the other player.
Yeah, just to say that these guys are on completely even grounds with each other. They took their third and fourth gas at literally the exact same time. You guys are playing the exact same way. The supplies are pretty even. The only variation is that Czar took the forge first instead of the robotics bay, and because this has turned into a passive game where they aren't going to attack each other until they're saturated on their second bases, he's going to have a whole upgrade ahead of Breach, and Breach isn't going to attack him until it's done, quite clearly. So Czar is looking to be ahead right now.
That third base did go down for Czar, and as mentioned, this is going to prompt Breach to go for that third base as well, except he's going to check around for any sort of proxies, and instead of continuing Immortal production, he decided to go straight into Colossus. Now if we look at Czar's army, it's just five Immortals and 3 Sentries. He hasn't quite pumped out any Colossus just yet, or hardly any Gateway units. He is just purely on tech right now, forcing out Forge upgrades, quickly chrono boosting to try and catch up in Colossus, but still no Warp Gate units aside but for the 2 Sentries. And I think that's really going to be quite decisive. I know Immortals, when they get close enough to Colossus, they could be quite damaging. And,
yeah, 5 Immortals absolutely tear up Colossus. And the thing is, yeah, he does have a high Immortal count, but look, he's got double Robo, and his Thermal Lance is almost done as well, and his Twilight Council has begun researching Blink. So his Colossus count, although it's lacking, he's going to be able to catch up very, very quickly here.
And if anything about PvP, it's all about Colossus game. And I like this double Forge upgrades. For a second there, I thought Czar would have an upgrade advantage, but Breach dropped two Forges, and he's going to pretty much have the same upgrades around the same time. So that's hardly even going to be a decisive factor either.
Yeah, it's play like this, man. Like, it's stuff like that that just can change the tide instantly. Wow,
or keep the tide even.
Czar was gonna be, yeah, I really thought that Czar was going to be ahead, and then just going double Forge and putting your Chrono Boost into that. That's a great decision out of Breach.
And we have a Dark Shrine on the way. And Blink, we got Blink coming from Czar. And Charge instead coming for Breach, so we'll see how that stacks up if there is going to be a battle between then. But beforehand, both of these players still kind of saturating. 68 Harvesters for Breach, 61 Harvesters, slightly behind, trying to make up for it. But as you can see, it's about a 200 mineral difference with that 7 Harvesters.
I think right now, Charge is going to be much more beneficial if there's an engagement in the near future, as Czar is very, very Immortal heavy. How many Immortals does he have right now? 5. And Zealots of Charge will absolutely eat through those Immortals.
And to note, level 2 ranged attacks is going to be finishing within a few minutes for Czar. But with these double Forge upgrades, Breach is actually going to be able to surpass Czar's upgrades and take an advantage in that. And he started behind, so that just goes to show going double Forge upgrades is completely worth it. And he's actually at max. He's actually at max saturation at his third for Breach, and
these supplies are just so close. These guys are just on such even footing right now. Aside from the upgrades,
a lot of this is thanks to that loving observer.
Pretty sound right now. Yes, observers, guys, make sure you make observers. They love you, and you will love them.
And now, if we take a look at the production, I see 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10 warp gates for Czar, and it looks like he's going to be stepping forward onto the map to try and get something done. But these cannons are going to completely nullify these DTs. That's an investment. They're not going to get anything done, and that it might actually be, that can actually put Breach behind, just donating that amount of resources for literally next to no damage. The shield's going to recharge.
These are very, very expensive units, and you need to get damage done with them. I'm surprised why he decided to just go for the Nexus. Maybe he wasn't watching, maybe he didn't know that there was a cannon there. But maybe he just went around to the back of the mineral line, or even if he took out an assimilator or something. Oh, but never mind, there's also a cannon there. Zara doing a very good job making sure, like, if I don't have an observer here, I'm going to have a cannon here, just so that I'm covered for situations like this.
Right. Now to touch back on that, the upgrade timings, 2-1 for Zar. Still quite a bit away from finishing that 2 armor, and already 3-3 is on the way for Breach, so he's going to have a major upgrade advantage. Colossus counts, we're going to see an engagement over here. Zealots leading the way, but they're kind of in a train.
Is so important. Breach need to split. They both need to spread their Colossus out. Concaves are absolutely vital. Upgrades can be completely nullified in situations like this. Breach getting the Concave on his Colossus, doing so much damage here.
And that upgrade advantage for Breach just seems like it was so decisive. All of those Colossus survived. I think Zar lost about 2 Colossus, so not the most cost-efficient of trades, but this 4th is already done and being mined from, and that might just be enough to even out the trade.
And these 2 DTs going into the 4th. I don't know about the decision to attack the Nexus. Should be going for the probes. But if we don't get detection here, if this Nexus goes down, that's huge.
Exactly, that's going to be enough to solidify a lead for Breach. There's no observer in sight. That's so weird. But the Nexus does fall, and he's going to try and remake it, but it's going to go down again if he does manage to pick it up and focus fire it down. Still no observer on the way. Is there anything in there? It is finally. Observer is on the way. And he's still getting harassed by these DTs. I would like to see his DTs focusing that Nexus. In the meantime, photon cannons going down in the bases of Breach to try and, defend against any sort of late game DT harass.
Yeah, late game DT harass can really turn the tide of games in PvP. Almost any matchup.
Oh yeah, definitely any matchup.
To be quite frank with you.
And now Zar is getting DTs of his own, but strictly for Archons. He's not going to do any sort of harassing with them just yet. 1 DT just mixed in the army. Has nobody to merge with. Finally, +3 weapons, ground weapons on the way for Zar, but 3-3 is already finished for Breach, and he's even chrono boosting out shield upgrades as well. So he's definitely going to have an upgrade advantage for the duration of the game.
I think Breach has a huge timing window right now with the upgrade advantage and the supply advantage. I think once these Archons morph in, he should attack. He should attack, because this is one of things that you should not let down.
Absolutely.
What are the Colossus counts for each players? We have
8 to 8.
8 to 8. Okay. Yeah, the upgrades and positioning is going to come down to everything. That is what it's going to come down to. We do have some DTs from Zar coming to check the 5th, but unfortunately there is no 5th to attack.
And we do have a drop going down at the bottom right. Defended. And a 5th base coming from Zar over here. Zealots going in from Breach to the natural of Zar, and he is going to respawn by warping in Zealots of his own. In the meantime, the drop for Breach's base should be handled quite easily with these cannons up, and give him plenty of time to warp in and serve as detection. Weiser pulling his whole army back to deal.
Look at this play. Look at this play, using the Zealots to bait out the entire army. Now Breach is going to use this opportunity to get into this position, getting the spread on his Colossus. And here it goes, Adonis. Here we go.
Archon's leading the way, but they're going to pull back. I don't know.
Why are you pulling back?
I think they're at that stage in the game to where they know if they lose their main army, they're not going to be able to reinforce enough, so positioning is of utmost importance. In the meantime, these Dark Templar are being warped in by Zar, harassing the main of Breach, but there's detection just in range to save the Nexus. And a nice concave from Zar over here, and Breach definitely doesn't want to push into that. Warp Prism coming back, and it looks like that Warp Prism has speed, does it not? That thing was zooming.
No, I wasn't able to get a good look at it, but I wouldn't doubt it. Let's go ahead and check the robotics bay. I believe he has all the upgrades for it. Yeah, he has observer speed as well as Warp Prism speed.
When you're floating 6K mins, why not?
Exactly. Why not? Get anything and everything.
So that 5th base is up and running to the 4 base of Breach. So definitely Czar is more so solidified into a macro games, banking much more resources, and has like 1 billion Colossus. And I don't know, even though Breach has an upgrade advantage and had a major timing window before he attacked, and still kind of does before that upgrade finishes. Or it's not even started, rather. He really needs to get something done.
I think this mama ship is going to play a huge role for the next engagement.
Finally, a 5th coming down for Breach, and it looks like Czar's looking to get something done here. It's just going to be coming down.
And again, the upgrades, 313 for Breach compared to the 203 for Czar. And also Breach has a mothership. I believe he's waiting to gather energy to then engage. As well as getting +2 shields. I think he'd like to line those two up quite nicely.
Finally, +3 started on the Forge over here. Additional gateways being added so they can reinforce as fast as possible. Almost up to 15 gateways now. And we got, I don't know, 9 gateways for Breach. So going to be using these additional, probably just, I don't see these zealots serving very much, so they're probably mainly used to kind of just do roundabout attacks and maybe pull the army out of position. But it seems like they'll go down so fast to this number of Colossus, they don't serve much of a purpose, especially Stalkers either. So, I mean, I think if you can get some sort of heavy zealot Archon Immortal ball, as we see here, it'd be much more effective than standard gateway units.
Look at, I was going to comment on Czar's spread and how he's probably, he's so focused right now, he probably isn't going to be let a few Zealot Warpins or a few DT Warpins pull his army out of position. Both these players going in to attack each other. The mothership does have enough energy for a Vortex. We do have this pylon for Breach, giving away the position of Czar's army, but Breach is saying, no, I'm not going to go back and defend, I'm not scared of your army, I'm going for your 4th right now.
And he doesn't get it! And a Vortex goes down and catches everything. He's going to be able to pick up these Colossus for next to nothing.
Now those Archons need to get in that Vortex, and he needs to spread his Colossus out right now. Oh my god, I don't know how this is going to turn out.
So much splash going down on those Colossus. See them going down so fast, especially with Breach's Colossus shooting down at everything. Demolished by Breach. Very clutch play.
And look at those Immortals just powering in the front, Adonis. They're going to take out all these expansions, all these tech structures, and these Archons with the Colossus supporting are going to clean up any sort of warpins that Czar is going to try to do to defend this.
Absolutely.
This is what we call a flush.
Finally got some reinforcements for Breach coming in here, and some DTs even warped in to go do any sort of preliminary harass around the outer bases. And
all these Archons, but they're just being
caught in a choke, nowhere to go, and they're just going to be shot down by that splash so much. And now I'm expecting to see 15 warping somewhere. And he's going straight for DTs. That's very questionable. He goes DT so he can get some quick Archons, but I don't know. I mean, what do you do against this sort of comp when all you have is gateway units?
It was mostly mechanical too, right? Like Immortals and Colossus, yes, and Zealot reinforcements, but Archons are good against Bio, not mechanical.
I don't know, but 3-step, I think Breach is going to go on to win the game and take the series.
I think Team Evolution is going to take this clan war.
And now we got some counter harass coming from Czar. He's doing everything he can to pull himself back into the game. 8 DTs on the way to harass the bases, but there's cannons in there anyways. So, they're not going to make it very far. Stargate on the way to once again solidify Breach's lead, and all these cannons. I don't know. I don't see Czar being able to do much. And whenever maybe the pressure got to him, maybe it's as we were talking before, a lot of pressure was on him to keep Dark Onyx into the game, and he didn't want to do an unsuccessful attack and put the game away.
Yeah, He's got to feel like, pretty rough right now. He doesn't want to leave the game. Look, he's just dropping nexuses, trying to make this last as long as possible. It is sad to, you know, be in a position like that and lose the game for your clan, but you know, they both played a great macro game with PvP. I think it was
It's about as macro game as a macro game gets in PvP, I'd say.
Yeah,
and,
it really was.
But we do have a shield upgrade about to finish for Czar over here. So, you know, I don't know if that's going to be enough to bring him in, but that will benefit the Archons.
Oh, the single shield up. Those DTs, man.
But
that shield,
you know, Czar managed to actually use up all of his resources when they were floating around. You know, 6K resources. He was actually able to use them all up, and it was just so inefficient to the, you know, to the Colossus and the Archon Immortal Ball. And that just seems like it's the end game comp of compositions. Like, what do you use to fight this sort of composition? There's just so much splash and DPS and tank that, you know, if you lose your initial robo units to an unfortunate vortex such as that we witnessed today, that it just seems like there's not much else you can do. You can't really reinforce with gateway units because everything in this composition counters gateway units.
Yeah, let's go back to the decision where, you know, Czar went to go for an attack and Breetz's pylon gave the position of Czar's army. Breetz, with the decision to say, nah, I'm not going to pull back, I'm going to go ahead and try and take you on right there, that really was a great position, because, you know, if Czar goes back to pull his army back, he's going to be in a bad spot. You know, he's not going to have a spread, and he's just going to get vortexed, and it was a good game. And that was a great time.
It was a really good game. It was so Team Evolution takes the clan war, our second official clan war, it's 5-3. So this will be our very first victory as Team Evolution. Very proud to actually say that our very first clan war was a loss. We actually managed to take the gold on this go around. Very good sport from Dark Onyx. We would like to thank them for participating in this clan war, and we really hope to do it again in the future. You know, of course, we'll figure out all the little details then. GG, well played for all the players. Thanks for everyone that participated, everyone that showed up, and especially thanks to our backups who were willing to be here if we had some no-shows. And yeah, I think that's all I got. Once again, thanks Dark Onyx, and well, we hope to do it again.
Thank you, GG, man. Dark Onyx, good job. Team Evolution,
thank you, Dark
way to
Onyx.
take the gold.
Team Evolution, and once again, I'm proud of you players. You gave us some good games, and never give up. Good game.
This is so worth me leaving work early. I'm so proud of you guys.
GG, guys.